What if we told you that one of the most legendarily unreliable supercars ever made, a car so temperamental it could barely make it out of the driveway, just got reborn as a masterpiece? Today, we're looking at the Lamborghini Diablo that shouldn't exist. The 1990 original was a raw, unfiltered beast that could destroy your transmission before breakfast and your confidence before lunch. But what you're about to see is the 1 million answer to a question nobody asked. What if we took everything that made the Diablo legendary and removed everything that made it a nightmare? The 1990 Lamborghini Diablo is pure chaos wrapped in aluminum and fiberglass. That 5.7-liter V12 engine, absolutely gorgeous. But it sits in a car that feels like it was assembled by someone on their first day at work. The panel gaps are so massive you can literally fit your hand between the door and the dashboard. The interior stitching isn't just a little off, it's inches away from where it should be. The steering is hydraulic nightmare, requiring the strength of a lumberjack just to turn a corner in a parking lot. The pedals are offset to the right, like they forgot to center them. The instrument cluster blocks half your windscreen, so you genuinely don't know how fast you're going. And the gear shift? It's a horrible cobra head knob in an open H-pattern gate that feels stolen from a tractor. The seats are impossibly narrow. There's barely any headroom. The electrical switches go sideways instead of up and down. Everything about the cabin feels like it was thrown together at the last minute with absolutely no consideration for actual human beings who might sit inside it. But here's the thing. When this car works, when that V12 roars to life and you feel the power of 490 horsepower, it lights up your soul like a firework. The problem is, it almost never works. No ABS. No traction control, no power steering, just raw, unfiltered, unforgiving mechanics that'll spin you into a ditch faster than you can say Italian engineering. So for 3 decades, the Diablo remained a museum piece, something you admired from a distance but never dared to actually drive. Enter the Eccentrica, a completely reimagined Diablo, not a copy, not a reskin. A philosophical rebuild of a 1990s icon with 2020s technology. The mission was audacious. Take every single thing that made the original Diablo special and keep it, but remove every single thing that made it dangerous, unreliable, and genuinely unpleasant to operate. This isn't a minor update. This is a total redesign that cost over $1 million and requires stripping the car down to its DNA. The Eccentrica still looks like a Diablo, but like you're seeing it in full resolution. The entire body is now carbon fiber instead of aluminum and plastic, saving 40 kilograms right there. The lines are sharper, leaner, more razor-like. Those pop-up headlights from the 90s? Gone. They've been replaced with linear actuated LED headlights that slide back and forth. And those cost $80,000 just to homologate. The NACA ducts are still there, but they're refined. Sharper, more purposeful. The profile has been shrink-wrapped into something tighter and more modern, yet unmistakably Diablo. The wheel arches aren't square, aren't round. They're perfectly Diablo. The wheels have grown from 17 inches to 19 inches. There are massive intake scoops on the roof now, feeding fresh, cold air directly into the engine's intake plenums. Every single element has been redesigned with dual purpose. It has to look incredible and function better than the original. The front end is lower and wider with horizontal lines that make the car appear to crouch. The result? A Diablo that looks like it was always meant to be this way. Step inside and you understand why this cost £1 million. Gone is that massive binnacle that blocked half your vision. The dashboard now curves into a completely open windscreen. You can actually see out of the car now. Imagine that. The instrument cluster sits in a sleek, flat panel with a retro-futuristic design. Think of it like a complete gaming system. Oil pressure, oil temperature, coolant temp, and a pixelated rev counter all arranged with surgical precision. The buttons are still blocky and big like the original Diablo, but they're resolved, modern, purposeful. The center console is covered in gorgeous suede. The manual gear lever sits in that iconic open H pattern, but now it's refined. The seats are lower than the original, giving you significantly more headroom. There's a power-assisted steering wheel, thin-rimmed and beautiful, that you can actually use without engaging your entire upper body. The interior features drive modes, Aqua for wet conditions, Strata for roads, and Pista for the track. There's a nose lift for speed bumps. The reverse is now electric, engaged by a button. And there's a bespoke Moranzel stereo designed specifically for this car. The carbon cross bracing is visible, punching through the structure like artwork. This isn't just an update, it's a complete elevation of what a supercar interior should be. Modern, elevated, bespoke, resolved. Here's what separates the Eccentrica from simply being a prettier Diablo. The engineering that nobody sees, but everybody feels. The engine, it's the same naturally aspirated V12, but the intake ducting has been completely rethought. Those roof scoops? They're positioned to capture the freshest, most undisturbed air possible, naturally boosting the engine without forced induction. Every piece of intake air is designed to maximize flow to the radiator, eliminating the cooling problems that plagued the original. The space frame remains the same as the 1990 car, but it's been reinforced with carbon bracing and extensive stiffening. The suspension is now adaptive, meaning you can adjust it from rock hard to genuinely comfortable with a simple knob. The stiffer frame gives the suspension something solid to push against, making the entire driving experience feel more planted and controlled. The brakes are now Brembo, real brakes with real stopping power. The tires are modern Pirelli Trofeo Rs, slightly wider at the front and narrower at the rear compared to the original, creating a better balance. And there's a Capristo exhaust that sounds like pure mechanical poetry. Weight matters more than horsepower in a supersport car. 20 kilograms lost is something every driver can feel in braking, cornering, and acceleration. 20 horsepower, barely noticeable. By using carbon fiber and optimizing components, the Eccentrica achieves weight reduction without sacrificing rigidity. Modern electronics now compensate for driver mistakes without you even knowing it's happening. The traction control works so smoothly that you don't sense the intervention. It's predictive rather than reactive. The Eccentrica feels like a Diablo, but a Diablo that actually wants to be your friend. The power-assisted steering alone transforms maneuverability. You can navigate parking lots. You can actually control the car with reasonable effort. But it still retains that purposeful mechanical Diablo character. It's still a hard car to drive, but it's hard in the right way now. The adaptive suspension makes everything feel easier, more connected. The modern Pirelli tires don't wash out. The steering doesn't understeer into disaster. The Brembo brakes feel like actual brakes, not suggestions. When you brake, deceleration is clean and confident. When you accelerate, that naturally aspirated V12 sings with modern efficiency. You can throw this car around. The original Diablo, you had to manage it. You had to coax it. This one invites you to drive it. The Eccentrica proves something remarkable. A car can be better in almost every measurable way. Better steering, better brakes, better suspension, better interior, better reliability, better visibility, better everything, and still feel authentically like its legendary predecessor. It's a Diablo, but elevated. It's a supercar that respects the legacy while refusing to repeat the mistakes. It's what the 1990 Lamborghini Diablo should have been all along, if the technology had existed and somebody had dared to dream that far ahead. The classic supercar is back. But it's no longer searching for an identity. It's found one that honors the raw spirit of the original while embracing everything modern engineering can offer. The Eccentrica is proof that you don't have to choose between authenticity and progress. You can have both. If this video opened your eyes to the truth behind the Lamborghini Diablo, how the original was beautiful but fundamentally flawed, and how the Eccentrica fixes it all without losing the soul, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. If you had to choose between owning an original 1990 Diablo or the Eccentrica restomod, which would you pick? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. Your perfect supercar is out there. Just know what you're looking for. See you in the next video.